This is Jay from Team 125 Overland, and today I'm going to do a review on the Eaton E-locker. So let me start off by talking about a little bit about this. Let me give you a really good idea of what I think of the Eaton E-locker. Let's talk a little bit about it. That's what I think about the fucking Eaton E-locker. So I actually have it here. Yeah. It's supposed to be in the rear axles of the truck. So when I started designing the actual Silverado, I wanted to do a locking rear differential. All right, and part of the problem there, mine didn't really come with one. And a lot of new trucks nowadays are actually coming with one. So like Fords, my 4Runner, they're all coming with locking differentials. Additionally, because I was going up with a bigger tire, I wanted to do a re-gearing. So I decided to go with a 456 gear, and I decided to go with a locker in the rear. Because I build all the stuff in my driveway, and I don't have really garage available, I decided to have a very good, reputable company around here called DTS actually do all my work. It was about $2,800, I think, total. When deciding whether or not I wanted to go with which locker I want to go with, the choices really were ARB versus Eaton. And when you look on the internet, most of them have like great reviews. I mean, really, let's talk about them. Like, they're pretty good quality lockers. They're considered quality lockers. Someone might have a problem with an ARB and say, "Hey, listen, the ARB sucks," versus Eaton. Ultimately, you just gotta really make this choice for yourself. If you're familiar with Silverados, they use an independent front suspension in the front, and they use a 8.25 front axle, which is a aluminum center housing and CV shafts on the side. It's considered one of the weakest front axles you can pretty much go with. ARB doesn't manufacture a locker for that, because the idea is that if there's a locker in there, the actual case would bust apart once it was activated. When you look into it a little bit, you find out that really there's not a whole lot of history of those cases breaking, and they're pretty stout actually off-road. You do see those axles breaking, the actual CV shafts, but not so much the actual case. There was one particular famous picture on the internet. That case was busted, and people just focused on the picture, not the story of how it broke. And that particular install was really bad, and they were really misusing it. So it actually is pretty strong, but they don't really support it. So, I had a choice to make, either a $1,500 Eaton E-locker or a $1,500 ARB setup with compressor, or a, like $800 Eaton. So I went with Eaton. Makes sense. I'd already had a little compressor. I figured, go with that. I had the shop do it, and I went camping the next weekend. It was up north. And if you're not from Michigan and you're watching this, we refer to everything up north. Everything's like, where are you going? I'm going up north. That just means camping of some sort. So we were going up camping, and when you get an Eaton E-locker, I had wired it in myself. You have to engage the actual locker at about a 0 to 1 mile roll, and what that does, that engages a little pin on the inside of here, and that pin will lock up both axles. Okay. Well, the first time I did it, as soon as I did it, I heard a clicking. It's a clicking, and I had an inkling of what that was, even though I wasn't familiar with it. And it would hear it sometimes, it would hear it all the time. I brought it back home that weekend, and I looked at it, or I brought it back home. I called up the actual shop, like, yeah, bring it in. They had replaced the unit. Okay, so there's another day without my truck. The pin had sheared off. So they replaced it. They said, hey, listen, it's really working really good. So then I take it up north again the following weekend. And my grommet had fell in, and it was leaking differential, leaking differential fluid out of the actual differential. Go ahead. So then I had to take it back again, another day lost. And they fixed that, and then we're all good. So I had a big trip in 2016 where I went to Vegas. And my Vegas trip, it was great. You know, no issues. But I didn't do a lot of off-road wheeling, so I was basically off-road maybe 20 minutes. Like really nothing really extensive, you know. So really, the real wheeling time, to be liberal, that I had that rear axle locked in an off-road position, was 2 hours between 2 different units. Then, I also had never done anything except for at a dead stop, and I never even tried initiating on a solid roll. My wiring is great. Okay, if you don't believe me, look at some of my other videos. I know what I'm doing as far as wiring. Come 2017, my first trip of last year, I'm getting ready, and I'm going off-road, I click it on, and all I hear is clicking. So, I'm just in shock that I'm on the second unit. And I think to myself, like, how can it be broken on a second unit? So I look, I call up the company, I actually called Eaton first. I said, look, listen, I know this is out of warranty. Here's my story. I can't believe your product is this bad. And you know, the guy was okay on the phone. He wasn't a dick, but like, it was like, well, it's got to be something else. It's probably the wiring. And I'm like, it's not the wiring. If it was the wiring, the pin would just engage. I hear the pin. So I looked online to see if there was replacement parts for it. There was. They were kind of expensive. The axle still had to come apart. I mean, that's the case, and I still can't trust it. You know, like if you buy a gun, the gun jams every round. You may fix it 30 times, and after the 30th time, are you ever gonna trust that gun to save your life? No. So I'm not gonna trust this Eaton E-locker to save my, be there when I need it. So I had like kind of like trying to figure out like where was I going with that? Anyways, so by the time I just didn't trust it anymore. So even the guy on the phone from Eaton, he's like, well, you know, like ARB has problems too. I see that you live in Michigan and their lines freeze. I'm like, okay, there's a huge difference between like a $20 liner not working in the cold versus $3,000. So ultimately, I just made the decision of, you know what, I can't trust this. We're going to replace this with an ARB. So I once again took it back to the company that did my work before, and it was about $1,800 changed to an ARB. I had the investment of a compressor. So a lot more money. And, you know, I had to do a lot of fabrication to get the compressor to actually work under my engine bay because it's already really busy. And it's still not done. I started it last summer, and I'm really busy. I mean, you know, I work 2 jobs. I'm in grad school, I'm a nurse practitioner. I stay really busy. So I can't give you a review of if the ARB works great for me or not. I'm hoping it does. But I can tell you what, I have a lot more faith in it. I also looked up on some reviews, you know, kind of like similar to things to like what happened with mine. And some people came up with like this idea that maybe perhaps because if it's a C-clip axle, the C-clips have a little give. That little give is enough to start shearing that pin off. I don't know. I don't give a shit. Fuck Ethan. Or fuck not. Fuck Ethan. Fuck Eaton. Ethan's my best friend, not fuck Ethan. Fuck Eaton. Because all in all, Eaton called me, or Eaton fuck me. Eaton costed me a grand total, I do believe, of $3,500 in repairs to my truck for 2 hours of reliable service from their product that I can't get back because I didn't wheel my truck all year. It's garbage. It's just absolutely fucking garbage. So yeah. If you want to, you have a GM, and it is I think mine's an 8.5 or 8.8 rear end. I forget. If you have a GM that has that, and you're looking for a locker, my advice: don't get a fucking Eaton. You know, because you're wasting your money. You know, honestly, go with ARB. Don't go with Eaton. Don't get fucked like I did. So it's a little bit of advice. Take it or leave it. We'll talk to you later.